Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. We have a very special show today. It's been a couple of years since we had the Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills on. And Miss Brewington at the time was with you, and she came on, and we want to talk today about the organization. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary here in Moore County. Certainly not the 25th anniversary of the Boys and Girls Club nationally. And I'm being joined by John Earp, who is the Resource and Development Director, and Steve Kastner, who is the CEO. And in the middle of the table, we have 2 special guests. The young lady, her name is Quinn Klozarski. She is a 3rd grader at McDeeds Creek. And the young gentleman sitting next to you is C.J. Fox. He's 7 years old. And you guys will be signing autographs after the show. That's what I think. Good morning. And hey, both of you, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Did you know, how long ago did you know you were going to be on the radio?
Never.
Just today?
Never.
No, they told you were coming on.
Oh, just today.
Oh, just today. So were you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're excited too?
Mm-hmm.
Not afraid? No reason to be. When I was your age, I would have hid under the chair. I would have been so afraid. You guys both look like you're very comfortable about this and looking forward to it. Do you know what we're going to be talking about today?
The Boys and Girls Club? The Boys and Girls Club?
You're both right. I want to speak to John and Steve first, and we're going to ask you guys a couple of questions. Steve, pleasure to meet you. Mm-hmm. This is a big event coming up. You're celebrating 25 years. It must have formed just before I moved here in 99. It was in not 93, 97?
Yeah, in fact, we were opened in 97, but we weren't officially in a Boys and Girls Club yet at that point. It took about a year for us to form our charter and work through Hendersonville, actually, North Carolina, had a Boys and Girls Club. We worked under their direction for the first year until we officially became a Boys and Girls Club.
How did you get involved with them?
I first got involved with them as a board member about 10 years ago. Uh-huh. And similar to what John's history is, I retired about 2 years ago and still had a passion for the organization and all the good things it's doing in the community, and was contacted by a board member and said, you should consider this organization. And I already had a familiarity with the great deeds and outcomes that it does for our area, and decided to throw my hat in the ring and was selected.
I have always been impressed by how low the cost is for the children. For the events, the meals, I could not believe. And you are you're a 503c.
Yeah, we're a 501c3.
501c3.
Yeah, and our cost is $50 for a whole school year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and yet our cost average is about $1,200 per year. So, big part of what John and I do is try to raise funds to make up that difference every year.
John, when you and I were in college and Steve was in college, I don't remember ever a course in college called fundraising - thinking outside the box. Do you?
No, Bill. Good morning. I have never been involved in fundraising until about 8 months ago.
Uh-huh.
So Caroline Eddy enlisted me. She suggested I wasn't being productive enough in life, and so she introduced me to Steve and said that we could do a good job working for the Boys and Girls Club. I was involved with Peanut Village at the time, working on their foundation board, and she was right. And I really didn't know anything about fundraising, but I developed a passion for the Boys and Girls Club. Steve and I talk about the Boys and Girls Club as a place that people know about but don't really know very much about.
Right.
And it's an amazing organization. It really transforms young people into much more productive, caring people in life. And so as I really sort of developed a better understanding of what is accomplished at the club, I found fundraising is nothing more than telling the story about the club and
Right.
telling about what we do, and
Right.
and people realize that, and then they come around pretty quick to understanding that there's a need.
And if you explain all of that with a passion, nobody would ever accuse you of selling something.
We're not selling it.
But that's right. If you're credible
Yeah.
and you're just talking about what you believe,
Yeah.
people will not be put off.
No.
It reminds me, the Boys and Girls Club reminds me of that expression, and there was a movie called Pay It Forward. I don't know if you remember it, many years ago.
Mhm.
But as adults, you're both retired.
Well, we were until we until we joined the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, as semi-retired or
Yeah.
you've pivoted, it is a form of paying it forward because the beneficiaries are the generations behind you. Are there misperceptions about the Boys and Girls Club that people who, like you said, know a little bit about it but not a lot about it, do they fully understand the scope of the type of students and the type of curriculum or programs that you provide?
Yeah, I think you said it very well in terms of I think there are misconceptions about what we do, and
Yes.
and we have a communication plan laid out this year that John and I worked on that we're going to be trying to correct some of those misconceptions. I think one of the things that comes to mind often is, well, we're a daycare center, or we're a place where kids get in trouble that go to, or it's a sports-oriented club and things like that, and it could be those are all pieces and parts, but really we focus on three areas, and that's academics,
Right.
Healthy lifestyles, and leadership. Three focused areas. So everybody that comes to the Boys and Girls Club has programs focused on those three areas that helps them be successful in life. We manage report cards, so we get everybody's report card, right, Quinn? And so we know how they're doing in school and what we need to work on and focus on. So that's a key component of what we do as well. And you'll hear probably later from the kids here in terms of how the day works when they come to a Boys and Girls Club. It isn't just go to the basketball court and shoot hoops and things like that. It's very structured.
Right.
Oftentimes, John and I talk about when we see kids interacting with Boys and Girls Club kids, you can see on a basketball court or in a room which kids are Boys and Girls Club kids and which kids are not. Very different in terms of their behavior, how they interact.
Tell me about those differences.
Well, I mean, much more disciplined. I mean, even daily courtesies and how they treat people, and then the relationships that our kids develop with our youth leaders. I mean, they really view them as mentors in terms of their relationships, and they're modeling. Our youth leaders are modeling the behavior that our kids are attracted to, and it's a great. It goes back to being a passion and a calling to be in this field, and I think that's what drew me to it. I think that's what draws all of our staff to it, is that calling that you're going to impact the lives of kids in our community.
Are the programs that you're talking about, are these all after-school programs and / weekend programs?
Yeah, they are. In fact, and also summer school. We have summer camps, so most of the times our kids are with us full year. So there's programs when they come right off the bus into the building, that they focus on this program. Then there's some kind of extracurricular, based on how they're doing in school, they have opportunities to broaden that and do some different things. We have a cooking class, we have a boxing class, we've got yoga, we got an equestrian program we just started with the Weymouth Center, so they can actually have experience with horses. Nice. I mean, really, we're always looking for new and innovative, program. We have a robotics program. Shouldn't forget that one, as that was a new one we started this past year that kids really love. So lots of opportunities for kids to experience.
So what is the age group, the age range?
So kids age from fifth grade, or age 5 all the way up to the 12th grade. So teenagers. the challenge with the teenagers is
they know
the
everything.
Yeah, they know everything and priorities.
Anything you need to know, ask a teenager.
Well,
right?
but also they're working and or they're in sports at school, so their life changes a little bit once they get up to 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Right. So the students they're recruited. The parents approach you. They want to sign them up because of the void because many parents work, and the after-hour program after school fills a void, doesn't it?
Fills a void, and also, the outcomes that kids that stay in our programs 2 to 3 times a week. We have demonstrated outcomes that they're going to do better in school. They're going to do better interpersonal relationships. They're going to do better in terms of volunteering in the community. They're going to do better in terms of graduation from high school, going on to secondary education. So it's actually been proven out over time that the more they attend a Boys and Girls Club, the better they're going to be in life.
You said something which is really a big part of what we do is that a lot of parents work. And, I was talking to somebody this morning, we were talking about the club, and, there's 12,000 kids that come in from school each day, and their parents are working, and they need something to be constructive, something to do, something to keep them busy. And, one of the things we talk about is the Boys and Girls Club allows their parents to have peace of mind, to know that their children are in a safe place.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. You remind me, as a kid, I was 13 years old and I crashed my parents' car. And my father said to me, "You have to pay this bill. It's your fault." And I didn't have a job. And they gave me a job as a caddy at a golf club. And my father said to my mother, "Let him do this. It'll keep him in the fresh air, keep him out of trouble, fill up a lot of hours, because if the kids don't have..." And it was a great lesson that my father taught me, and I paid him back every penny. Don't get any ideas, kids, about taking your parents' car. Right. But you're right. You keep them on the straight and narrow, and they don't get in trouble. Mm-hmm. When I first came here in 1979, I remember vividly that the kids who were in school here had nothing to do on the weekends.
Yes.
And they were parked in what is now the Harris Teeter Shopping Center. There was a Howard Johnson's. And they were just driving around the parking lot. Gosh knows what they were doing, impressing each other with who had the best muffler on the car. I don't know. But kids left Moore County, and they have come back in droves, people who grew up here, because our area has changed so much, and there's so many children.
In fact, that point you lay out there, we talked to one of our former board members, and a prominent person starting the Boys and Girls Club said that he feels that the incoming of the Boys and Girls Club, and at the time it did, probably makes Southern Pines what it is today. If that wouldn't have happened, Southern Pines was kind of going one way or another, and the Boys and Girls Club kind of tilted in favor of, here's an opportunity for kids. The community got better as a result of that.
So the children that are enrolled come from local families. They're not, as we were talking about, misconceptions. They're not troubled children.
No.
But I think some people may feel that, or don't know. They just don't know.
It's Bill. It's a broad spectrum. We have, kids from every. It's basically all inclusive. There's not one. You can't label it and say the kids fit this particular dimension. They're from all kinds of families, all kinds of circumstances. That's one of our principal points, is that we take children. Children come to us from all circumstances.
Yeah.
And the point is that when they do, they seemingly come together and get along amazingly.
Yes.
Steve made mention of the fact we should probably recognize one of the gentlemen that was really responsible, that I guess saw that need, was General Francis Roberts, and he really was very passionate. That he came from a Boys and Girls Club when he grew up, and then he went on to West Point and became very successful. People know his story in the community.
Yeah.
But he was very passionate that this community needed a Boys and Girls Club, and he reached out to anybody and everybody in the community that would listen to try to inspire them to take up the cause. And he reached out to Pat Corso. I think you probably know Pat Corso. And I guess Pat saw that same sort of possibilities. And the two of them, along with the gentleman, Tom Fazio, and Steve mentioned Hendersonville. He'd started the club in Hendersonville. And together, those three, worked with Mr. Deadman over at Pinehurst Resorts. And really, that was the nucleus. I mean, the club had already kind of started, but really with those four gentlemen, it really was the foundation for the club taking off and really getting roots in the community. And Steve talked to the point that Pat was the gentleman that said that really changed the dynamics of Southern Pines. That all of a sudden, kids had something to do in the afternoon.
Right.
And it went from Walker Morse. He was one of the founding members of the club.
Yep.
He said there was about 50, 60 kids at the very beginning. Well, today we have 1,200 kids.
Right.
That are connected to the club.
In the 90s, they had to have a lot of foresight to do this because there weren't that many kids. Today, the demographic shift is crazy. And it's a wonderful organization. We're going to come back, John and Steve, in the second set. And we're going to start the second set by talking to Quinn Klozarski and CJ Fox. You're going to be our guests for the next 10 to 12 minutes. Deal? This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. This is our second set, and we are speaking with John Earp, Steve Kastner, the Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills, and they're celebrating their 25th anniversary, and we're going to come back to this, but I just want you to know there is a gala being held on Thursday, October 19th at the Carolina Hotel's Grand Ballroom. And the gala event is sponsored by Lynn Hutaff, Lynn Hutaff's Pinehurst Realty Group, a great lady. Love working with Lynn, and she's got her pulse. I think she's got a great feel for our area, our market, and she does a lot to support the community. And I want to come back and talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
But right now, I want to switch. And I want to talk to Quinn and CJ. So, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
You glad to be here?
Mhm.
Tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade, and you go to?
Big Tees Creek Elementary.
Okay. So you are very confident.
Thank you.
You're not intimidated, and you have very good eye contact.
Thank you.
Are you the oldest in your family? Do you have brothers or sisters?
I have a younger brother.
Okay, but you're the oldest?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been with the Boys and Girls Club?
I think when I was in 2nd grade, I started it.
Okay. What is your favorite part of the Boys and Girls Club?
Like that we go to the gym and we go to the game room and that we do
Different events? Different.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something we want to talk about. But first, I'll say good morning to you too, CJ. You're a 2nd grader, and you're 7. You can say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Get a little closer to the mic, and tell me what is it that you like about the Sandhills Boys and Girls Club?
The game room.
Okay. So I was listening to these two gentlemen talk before we were taping, and they said something about power hour. Can you both tell me what that is? Quinn, you go first.
Power hour is where, like, if you have homework that you're not able to finish at school, you can do it, like, when you're there.
Okay.
And, like, if you don't have homework, then they let you, like, draw on paper or read a book.
Okay, so you're doing something kind of like school but fun.
Yeah.
A little bit different. CJ, what do you do in power hour? And get close to the mic. Attaboy.
It's like something like you like be productive.
Be productive, good.
And like do some stuff.
Okay, so you're not just playing sports or games. You're reading. You're learning something at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, and then you go home for dinner. Mom and Dad pick you up.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can't just say to you, "How was your day at school?" They're going to say to you, "How was your day at school and how was your day at the club?" Right?
Mhm.
Do you look forward to one more than the other?
Yeah.
Which one?
Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. Why?
Because
Get a
like,
little closer. Attaboy.
because like, at Boys and Girls Club, we don't like just like learn all the time. We also like go to the game room and the gym and stuff and play.
Okay. Do they give you more freedom at the Boys
yeah.
and Girls Club than they do at school?
Yeah.
So you can go in and pretty much do what you want, but you still have certain things you have to
Well,
do.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you made a lot of friends at the club?
Yeah.
So you have friends at school and you have friends at the club, and you get to meet people that you maybe ordinarily wouldn't have met.
Yep.
CJ.
And like I have a older friend that's older than me. Like every single time we're at the Boys and Girls Club, they try to sit by me and stuff.
Okay.
But now they're not there because they're in 6th grade.
Okay. So when you play sports and you're reading and you're doing some programs, are you also competing in a friendly way with your peers, with people your own age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Look, if you got them on the basketball court, you would say, "I'm going to win," right? You play hard. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that one didn't go where I wanted it to, but that's okay. And they feed you there too sometimes? What do they feed you?
Sometimes they do pizza or hot dogs and
Okay.
yeah.
It's a safe place. It's a
Yeah.
happy place.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Something?
I was going to say they give us like candy if we win like a competition or something.
Yeah.
If what? I'm sorry.
Like if we play a game, like say if like musical chairs or something, like if sometimes someone wins, sometimes they give them candy.
Okay. Okay. Do you have some students at the club that are older than you that work with you?
Yes.
Are there mentors?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there people, students that you look up to that are older?
Yeah.
Like who?
Euless.
Huh?
Cassidy
Go
and
there
Euless.
anymore.
I know, but
Wow.
they went there last year.
Holland.
Okay. How old?
I don't really know how old she is, but I do know she's in 4th grade.
Okay. She's a little older. Okay. And are the weekends also programmed? Not the weekends.
No, not
Okay.
weekends. Just during the week.
Monday through
There's
Friday.
special events sometimes on weekends, but
Yeah. So you guys have a pretty busy day when you get up so early in the morning and you go to school, and then right after school you go over to the Boys and Girls Club, huh?
Yep.
So your day is full. So when you get home, do Mom and Dad say, "Did you finish your homework?"
Yeah, sometimes.
And what do you say?
Yeah.
A little bit of it.
A little bit of it. You were too
Oh, yeah.
busy. You were too busy at the Boys and Girls Club playing games.
Yeah.
They have to understand that, right? I'm teasing now.
Oh.
So how do you guys feel about bringing your report cards to the club?
I feel okay about it.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. CJ?
I feel alright.
Not great, though, right? Why?
It don't have to be like too great.
Yeah, I know. When I was your age, I didn't want to share my report cards with anybody, even my parents. I know.
True.
True. It was true. I would hide them. I thought I could outsmart them. Coming here, do you have any programs where your mom or your dad come and see you in action at the club?
Whenever like we made the club official, we did also do the play the same day, and my grandmother did come.
You did a
my
play?
parents and, yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
How about you, CJ? Nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. You said the age of the kids start in fifth.
In age 5 up,
Five
to,
up to-
to 12th grade, so 18.
Do you get a lot of juniors and seniors in high school?
That's
Or
where it
mostly
starts to thin down a little bit in that
Yeah.
that upper age. Once they get a car,
The driver's license.
it's harder
See ya.
for them to come back to the club.
They know too much.
But, yeah.
You're holding them back, right?
Mhm.
So they're middle schoolers as well,
Mhm.
and they can be role models.
Right.
Yeah. I think both of you speak so well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. CJ, you're welcome too.
Thank you.
You have a lot to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you stay with us in the third set? We're going to do one more set, and I'm going to speak to Steve and to John. And you'll stay here with us?
Sure.
Okay. And then we're going to get you some pictures of you guys for your mom and your dad.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Deal? Okay. We're gonna come back in the third set, and we're gonna talk with John and Steve about this upcoming event on the 19th of October, the Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. We're talking all about the Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills, and we want to thank you, Quinn, and we want to thank you, CJ, for coming and participating. You guys both handled yourself very, very well.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
They did.
They really did. Tell me, John, about October 19th, what's going on?
So this is our 25th anniversary.
Yep.
25 years in the Sandhills. Ours started from very humble beginnings. You know, I mentioned we only had about 50 members when we started, and I believe our first location was on Bennett Street. And today we have over 1,200 members. And really, that number is not 100% accurate because that reflects what we have during the school year, and then we have a whole nother group that come in during the summer. So,
Right.
But let's just go with 1,200. So we've grown a lot, so being our 25th anniversary, we thought this is the right time to really celebrate that growth. But I think the important part about it is to look back and sort of say, you know, where do we come from and how did it get started? And I spoke briefly about General Roberts and Pat Corso and the Deadmans and their help for us. But so we're going to recognize them it'll be at the Carolina Hotel.
Yep.
On October 19th at the Grand Ballroom. And principle that it's an opportunity to recognize, you know, our roots, where we came from, and those people that had the vision to see to it that this town had an organization like the Boys and Girls Club to really look after the young people. And so we're going to recognize the Deadman family and their generosity in helping the club, and General Roberts and his passion to see that we were established, along with Tom Fazio and Walker Morris, who was our first board chair.
Yeah.
And a number. I mean, Bill, we live in a community that really, I mean, it's an incredible place that really sees that this kind of institution is necessary,
Yep.
and we have unbelievable people support. We have sponsors that are helping us out that evening. I mean, very generous. I mean, we wanted to mention Lynn Hutaf.
Yes.
You mentioned about her earlier.
Great lady.
And I mean, her goodwill extends beyond,
Yes, it does.
the boundaries, and she has been a huge sponsor for the Boys and Girls Club over the years.
Yep.
And so she is our founding sponsor
Yep.
for this event. And then, of course, we have other great. I mean, Duke Energy is also a great sponsor. We have Forest Creek is helping us. Pinehurst, the Sandhills Community College, and the list goes on. I mean, yeah, we've been very fortunate.
That expression, "it takes a village," applies here because you need the support of sponsors. You need the participation year in and year out. I mean, you're at a point right now, I think, where you can't add more children. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we're not quite there.
Okay.
But I mentioned briefly that we're the only club in North Carolina that actually is back to its pre-pandemic levels. Actually, we've exceeded that. I think we're at more or less a record club membership at this point.
Right.
So growth is something on the horizon. We're really having to think about where do we go next, and where do we find new space, and how do we accommodate. I mean, Moore County's grown enormously in the last few years, and we have to account for that.
Tell me about the spaces that you are at. Where are you located for people?
So we have 4 locations. Our most recent location that Quinn was talking about, the play that she participated in, is actually at Sandhills Community College, right on the campus. And we serve about 60 to 70 kids a day at that location. And that's new, and actually it's only one of 2 Boys and Girls Clubs that's out on a college campus in the country. So it's a unique situation where kids get exposure to college life and teachers and professors, sports, interaction and all that. So it takes away any fear of that college lifestyle from a kid starting right from kindergarten. So that's our newest location. Our other locations are at the Montessori School on May Street. That's we have a wing of that school that's dedicated to Boys and Girls Club.
That's great.
And then we have another location that's fairly new too, is on Route 5 in Pinehurst, and that's our Logan Blake Center on the Dedman family campus there. And then our primary location for teenagers is at Memorial Park downtown, and that's doing very well. And that probably has the most available space. The other 3 locations are pretty near full.
The Boys and Girls Club has an opportunity when they're working with kids starting at 5 years old through, let's just say, middle school. Those kids are at the most indelible portion of their childhood growing up. Impressions that are made, habits that can be formed, behaviors that can be reinforced or not reinforced. So lessons are learned.
Right. I think, and that's the challenge with, during the pandemic, our Boys and Girls Clubs were really shut down for 2 years, and these kids were not going to our program. And you're reading studies today, and you're finding out, what happened as a result of that. Most kids are farther behind. They're further behind in school than they would have been if they were present in school and going to a Boys and Girls Club. So we're playing catch up right now with all of our kids, and they need us more now than ever before.
The event that you're having on the 19th is a celebration, but it's also a fundraiser.
Yes.
And, that's the business we were talking about that we didn't learn in college, where you have to think outside the box always to be a step ahead, of the curve. And that's a challenge, but this is a very giving community.
Yes.
We have so many younger families moving into town with children.
Yes.
And what do they talk about? Schools, churches, where are they going to establish themselves, and what activities, soccer, I mean, the list goes on. And the brochures that you have should be put in all the real estate offices. I'm serious.
I agree.
100% serious, because we wind up being the first point of contact for a lot of people.
Thank you.
And they get here and they don't know anybody,
Yeah.
so they lean on us, experienced brokers who have been in the business. Lynn will tell you the same thing. If we had some pamphlets, we would certainly use them to distribute. It's just something else to put in their
good
packet,
idea.
right?
Bill, can I just add something?
Sure.
Steve made mention of something, and we are very mindful of this, that, one of our first locations was our location in Southern Pines, which used to be the old fire station. And, that is in large part because the town of Southern Pines was very kind in essentially allowing us to use the facility. And, we don't pay anything essentially to use the facility. And I just want to acknowledge our partnership with the town of Southern Pines. That's been, Frank Quist was the one that I think was in part responsible for that
Early
fire
2000s.
department. Yeah, to see to that it was made available for the Boys and Girls Club.
There's something about this area that people who live here love it, they glorify it, and they want to share it. And they want to do what's right by the community, not what's right by them. I see that all the time. And, Frank, good man.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
Yeah, really. But it was a different time then than it is today. And but we keep pivoting and accommodating. And what else do you have events coming up that you may want to let people know about, even in terms of fundraising or information, right?
Well, what's the date on I think it's November, we're having a Thanksgiving.
8th, November 8th.
We're having a Thanksgiving celebration really it's for our members and their parents, and then some sponsors that want to attend. But in essence, it's the Pinehurst Resorts, Chef T, and Wells Fargo sponsoring it, and Chef T's along with him. They're going to provide basically a Thanksgiving dinner for the members and for their families, and just kind of a, I guess, acknowledgement for the Boys and Girls Club. And then each year in February is our what we call the Youth of the Year, and it's a fundraiser of sorts, but really it's a recognition for our team members, and we identify a handful that have been academically have done well and have demonstrated leadership and good character, and have demonstrated a sense of community responsibility, and they go through I guess a process to essentially define themselves, and and we have groups. We have people from the community that more or less they go through an interview process, and we determine which member of that group is going to be our Youth of the Year, and then they'll go on to compete at the regional, state level, and they'll get to meet the governor. So
I'm hoping Quinn and CJ, you guys participate in that someday.
So and then we have a variety of events. We just found out today that Pine Wild is going to allow us to conduct they're going to sponsor a golf event out there and allow us to use the course for a day in order to hold a charity golf event.
It's such a giving community.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
One more thing, Bill, about the October 19th event is that we actually have Elijah McCormick, you've probably all been reading about, who was a former club kid from our program. Is going to be performing that evening as well. So we're proud of that and look forward to that as well. People
can go to your website to introduce themselves to the Boys and Girls Club.
Please.
And the events. Sandhillsbgc.org.
Yep.
And or sandhillsbgc.org/donate.
Donation's a good site.
And this is the time of the year that we want to do that. I'm really glad that you guys came on.
Thank you for allowing us.
Yeah, and when you have your students who have been nominated for Youth of the Year,
yes,
you don't have to just bring the winner in. You can bring the children who are running for it.
That'd be a pleasure.
Yeah, because they're all winners.
Yeah,
and we'd love to do that. And I know you two are going to be there one day. I just know it. It's a done deal. That's why I want your autograph when we're done. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
CJ, thank you.
boom.
You guys were great. John,
Bill.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Bill.
Steve,
Appreciate the time.
the Boys and Girls Club is one of the most important organizations in Moore County. Today, more than ever, it just creates an environment where people of all ages, children of all ages, have opportunities that extend beyond just a school experience. And it's a growing experience that they get at the club, and you two children, you two guys and girls, are evidence of that.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good job, guys. Thank you.